What's good, everyone? This your main correspondent, Alan Taylor, and I'm back in the broadcast room yet again. And this is where we at. So apparently in Minnesota, let's just start it off like this. From what it seems to be that these protests are starting to spread. You know what I'm saying? If you seen, any of my previous broadcasts and things like that, I just did a broadcast on what the sheriffs and the attorney general in Florida had to say about, protests coming down to Florida and what they're going to do. So with this happening here, this is in Minnesota. And what's going on here, it's a lady that's been arrested because she decided to get belligerent with the ICE agents and also the other agents on duty at that time. But what she didn't know was this was a sanctioned actual drug bust. This was an actual sanctioned drug bust. They were actually, doing their due diligence to get, criminals off the street from, trafficking and things like that. So, she decided to not be a peaceful protester and get out there and be a nutbag. I'm just being honest. So we're about to dive off into this. Let's see what's going on here. Quarters, nickels, and dimes, people.
You guys aren't fighting because you're passionate. You guys are fighting because you love to fight President Trump. And you Democrats don't want to come to terms with that. But here's how I know that I'm right. In Minnesota this week, there was a raid at a property where ICE and federal agents got involved because that's the other part of their job, is rescuing people. Liberals didn't do a lick of investigation or research, so they of course assumed that it was ICE arresting and detaining illegal immigrants. But what actually was it? It was not only a mission to shut down drug trafficking, but also rescuing victims of human trafficking. The street value of this meth is estimated to be anywhere around $25 million. What else did they find? 8 humans that were being trafficked, who are now rescued because of ICE and federal agents. They also figured out that the leader is tied to no other than the Mexican cartel. But because protesters didn't want to comprehend any of this, they started assaulting and attacking and trying to throw things as per usual at these federal agents. So now they've been arrested, and not for trying to speak their mind and stand up for what they believe in. They are being charged with obstruction of justice, obstructing a federal investigation, especially with drug and human trafficking. That,
as they should be. This is serious out here. And we got these nut jobs out here protesting and stuff like that, not doing any real research. Now, this was a serious situation. This young lady just said that they was actually rescuing people from this horrific situation, doing drug trafficking. Also, the cartels were involved, things like that. This is wild right here. Let's keep going.
That is how I know you guys don't care about what you're fighting for, because you have no idea what you're fighting about. Right. You don't do a lick of research, yet you're the first people on the street inciting mass amounts of chaos. Someone who truly cared and had a passion to make things better in the world would be organized, not chaotic. Then you go to downtown LA. What do you know? The sheriff, the chief of the LAPD, everyone's coming out saying, no, protesters started this. That's why the National Guard was deployed. The chief of LAPD has made it very crystal clear that Gavin Newsom is lying and that they asked President Trump for extra help because the protests were getting out of control. And I don't see one of you taking accountability for anything, because when someone asks you to realize your party is behaving like animals, they'll just throw January 6th in your face. How about this? How about this? And I will post the proof. I will Venmo $20 to the first Democrat who can come up on this comment section and say, our party is kind of losing full right now. We're kind of all over the place. We're not doing the right thing right now. We're actually ruining it for immigrants. When we behave like crazy people, people aren't really going to listen to our cause, which then in turn causes less people to pay attention to actually what you're trying to fight for.
Right. Hey, listen, look.
What the French toast is there to think about?
It is what it is at that point. And of course, you know what I'm saying, I had to let her spit her facts because this is true. right here. You know what I'm saying? And we're going to go here now. We're going to see what she's talking about with this situation that's happening in Minneapolis here, man. This is crazy right here. And I think that we need to actually see what's going on because yeah, man, it's wild out here. Let's go here now.
New details are emerging about a criminal investigation that, as we're learning tonight, yielded 900 pounds of meth. You may remember the presence of federal officers was mistaken for an ICE raid in Minneapolis last week. It happened a week ago today when a federal task force swarmed Cuatro Milpas on Lake Street. A large crowd quickly gathered to protest what they thought was the arrest of undocumented immigrants. That drug seizure in the criminal investigation was worth $22 to $25 million on the street.
Babs Santos joins us now live from the newsroom. And Babs, a St. Paul woman also faces serious charges for allegedly attacking federal agents in that chaos.
Yeah, that's exactly right. 27-year-old Isabel Lopez has been hit with a 4-count indictment accusing her of obstructing, impeding, resisting, and assaulting officers. Here's her mugshot. Authorities say she punched an FBI agent in the head, kicked and shoved other federal agents, and even threw a softball at the back of a Hennepin County Sheriff's Office deputy. Those charging documents then revealed more about the investigation behind all of this. Multiple federal agencies executed search warrants in Burnsville, Bloomington, Inver Grove Heights, Lakeville, Minneapolis, and Northfield related to a multinational investigation of narcotics trafficking, human trafficking, and money laundering. Investigators have uncovered 900 pounds of meth in a Burnsville storage shed worth an estimated $22 to $25 million. Then, during searches last week, they seized gold-plated firearms and portraits of Scarface as part of that ongoing investigation.
Man, hold up. They seized gold-plated guns and portraits of Tony Montana. Man. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, man. America's culture is leaking because this is an American movie. Let's just keep this real here. Tony Montana, we ought to watch this movie. I don't care what nobody say. If you old enough, you can watch this movie. Everybody to watch this movie. We all like this movie. Let's just keep this real here, bro. You know, man, wow. But hey, though, she get what she deserved. She had no business being out there, you know, interfering with any type of investigation or doing anything to any type of police officer or federal agent or any damn thing. What? Okay, then. Yeah, here we go with these masculine ass women running around here thinking that they could do something. But look, this is what's going to happen. Lock her punk ass up, too.
New tonight, video of Isabel Lopez's arrest. Independent journalist Georgia Fort sharing this video with Fox 9. Fort says Lopez was arrested by federal agents just minutes after speaking with her today. Fort also shared this image with us from last week's protest. Fort says Lopez told her she was assaulted by federal agents. Lopez made an initial appearance in U.S. District Court today. Authorities say she will remain in custody pending a detention hearing.
Sorry about that, guys. You know what I'm saying? I was trying to get it to play properly. But listen, look, man. Now she's going to play victim. Talking about she was assaulted. No, you were interfering with police business. That's your problem.
So what the French toast is there to think about?
You were interfering with police business. And you shouldn't have been there in the first damn place. You know what I'm saying? Where are your brothers at? Where's your father? Where are the men in your family to keep you out of this type of debauchery and stupidity? What is going on out here with our women running around here? Things like, well, you know, obviously, you know, she's not part of the black community here. Hold on. Let me rewind this shit. Because listen, look, this is crazy right here. You know, because yeah, you know, obviously, and I'm glad to see this too. The majority of black people are sitting completely out of this whole situation. And that's good to see, because it's not our problem. Let's go here now. Let's see what else going on with this young lady right here that decided that she was going to inject herself in an investigation.
A rally demanding the release of a woman who was arrested during this federal raid. She thought she was pushing back against immigration agents, but prosecutors say she was blocking a big drug investigation. Our Jason Rantala has a story.
Dozens of protesters headed to Elk River Wednesday, gathering outside the Sherburne County Jail, which holds 27-year-old.
Now, listen, look, I'm looking around here. Why ain't these people at work?
And what the French toast is there to think about?
Hold on here. Hold on here. What is going on here? What is going on? Look at this. Why ain't these people at work? These people don't have no jobs. These people don't have no bills to pay. No, these people are not paying any taxes, anything like that. Oh, I forgot. You know what I'm saying? That maybe they're illegal. Yeah, maybe that. So, yeah, they don't have any bills to pay or taxes to pay or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? Maybe they're getting free food and shit from government assistance and shit like that. This is crazy. Look at this. Look at what's going on here. Who has the time to sit out here and do all this protesting like this? Where's the money coming from to fund these people? Because these people got to eat. They got to go somewhere and defecate. They got to have a roof over their head. What is going on here? Why aren't these people putting in work like I go to work and work 40, 50 hours a damn week to do what I'm supposed to do as a damn man out here? What the hell is going on here? Why ain't these poop-put ass men somewhere making money?
And what the French toast is there to think about?
Why ain't these pieces of crap ass men somewhere doing what men supposed to be doing, helping to pay some taxes around here? Talking about free Issa. The hell you doing, boy? We need you to make some money, son. I need you to help me with these taxes. Out here playing around, free Issa. Fuck Issa. The hell you talking about? What?
Year-old Isabel Lopez now indicted on federal charges. Lopez is charged with assaulting, impeding, and resisting law enforcement during last week's federal raid in South Minneapolis. Get out of here! Get out of here! The community swarmed the street during what was thought to be an immigration enforcement. But court documents say it was an investigation into a transnational criminal organization. The raid was one of 8 across the metro, authorized after investigators found this: 900 pounds of crystal meth at a storage unit in Burnsville. Lopez, a St. Paul-based activist and poet, is accused of throwing a softball at officers. Investigators say these still images from body-worn camera show that act. WCCO cameras appear to capture a woman matching those pictures throwing an object. According to investigators, it's because of assaults like these that federal agents had to leave before they could collect all the evidence they needed.
I know personally that Issa is a caring.
Hold on. Why is the federal agents having to leave? What is this? Because back in the 90s, definitely in the black community, federal agents wasn't leaving no raids or no bust or none of that crap. Oh, it was over with. You know, back in the 90s, late 80s, 90s, all that, when we was having our problems in the black community because we had our issues and stuff like that. We were doing things as a community that, we had to, some of it was survival, things like that, however you want to put it. But Cheto, no. Okay. But see, this is a whole different scenario right here. These people have a whole, the meth situation is totally different. But listen, look, let's see what this young lady has to say about this Issa girl. I mean, Jesus Christ, what is this?
Human being and also just wants to fight for people's rights.
Joe Vital was with Lopez that day.
What I did see was a trending video that circulated online that demonstrated our military actually throwing Issa around and dropping her very hard into the ground.
He says she was standing up for what she believed in.
It's somebody who's fiery, meaning that is somebody who's going to be the first to advocate for something that is wrong, meaning.
Hold on.
And dropping her very hard into the ground.
He says she was standing up for what she believed in.
It's somebody who's fiery, meaning that is somebody who's going to be the first to advocate for something that is wrong, meaning.
Why your neck moving so hard, son? What the fuck is that?
What the French toast is there to think about?
You need to go pick up some bricks or something. Maybe go chop down some trees. How about you go hunting or something? Kill Bambi. This fool out here. Hold on. Hold on. Maybe the east side, she man, what the fuck is this shit?
What the French toast is there to think about?
What the hell is this? Man, all right. I had enough. Obviously, this woman was in the wrong. She had no business interfering with what was going on, talking about protesting and standing up for this and standing up for that. She need to stood up in the damn kitchen and fix her children some fucking food out here. How about you do that? Maybe she probably don't have any children because she disdains men. And this poo-put ass dude up here trying to hold up for her, well, she probably hate men in the first place with her feminist ass. Sitting around here with the wrong information, you interjecting yourself in a true investigation to get criminals off the street. But my problem is this whole scenario about getting the illegals out of here is getting the illegals out of here. All these people are criminals. If you're illegal, you're illegal. All this protesting for people that are illegal, and we are allowing this shit on America's soil, man. This is tragic. But it is what it is, though. Shout out to all my subscribers. Mad love to y'all. If you're new to the channel, please hit that like, share, subscribe button. Make sure you ring that bell to be notified whenever I decide to post things. And like I always say,
and that, my friends, is the bottom line.
That, my friends, is the bottom line.